Welcome to my review of the Bosch Unlimited 7 ProHygienic Aqua. The exact model number is BCS71HYGGB. I'm assuming if you've clicked on this video, you know it's a 2-in-1 vacuum cleaner, so it can vacuum and it can mop, but it can do it at the same time. And yes, we are going to put this to the test. This isn't just an unboxing video where we don't actually demonstrate it. We are going to use this and show you just how good, or not good, it is. So first things first, let's unbox it and have a look exactly what you get. So we've just opened it to here and you can already see we've got two QR codes. This first one here is to register your Bosch device. Just scan it and that will take you through to boschhome.com. Welcome, where it will register your appliance. And then at the top here, it says get to know power for all appliance partners and over 100 compatible products. So what that means is the battery is the all 18-volt lithium-ion battery. So it's interchangeable with other Bosch power tools. So it's really handy to extend your runtime. And the runtime on this is already 40 minutes, which is quite impressive. So we've got all the paperwork telling you it's a 2-in-1 vacuum mop. It's got a 10-year motor guarantee. Here is your flexi hose. You have a long flexible crevice tool. So here is the dynamic power brush. It looks like it's got lights on the front, and then you can see it's got a soft brush and a hard brush with another brush back here, and then wheels for easy gliding. Here's the main part of the machine. So we can see that's your switch. This is going to be where all the dust and dirt go. Got your eject button. We'll look into this in more detail in a bit. Here is your wall mount dock to put your vacuum cleaner on. The power supply. I believe this bit of plastic will go with the wall dock as well. And here is 2-in-1 crevice tool. So you've got your hard brushes just there, and if you push it forward, you can just use the longer, softer brushes. The 18-volt detachable lithium-ion battery. Another crevice tool. And this part is the reason you're watching the video. So this is the 2-in-1 dynamic aqua head, which makes this product unique. And then the only thing left in the box were these pads, which look like they fit on there. Yeah, just Velcro on. And there you go, you can now see exactly everything you get in the box. So you've seen all the parts. The next thing to do is charge the battery. I did just connect it to see if it was fully charged. Turned it on, and you can see an LED light just here, and you can see it's only on 1 bar. So before I actually review it, I am going to charge it up. But while I'm close to you, I want to show you something else. How you actually turn it on and off, I think, is really good. Now, I think most of the Bosches are like this. Lots of cordless vacuum cleaners actually have the trigger, which means you have to hold down that trigger the whole time. Now that doesn't sound too bad, but for people who struggle holding them and holding down the trigger, we hear in the shop lots of complaints and they'd like a button. So all you have to do is turn it on and you don't have to hold down any trigger. And there's also a few options. So we have Eco, Turbo, and Auto. To empty the dustbin, we have the eject button here. So we just press eject, and off it comes. Now I've reviewed one of these Dysons before and it always suggests rotating these before you take it out. What that does is release all the dust particles into the bin, and then you can just pull all this out. And then unscrewing this releases it like that. So what that clicking is doing, we can see in there, there's actually 4 little tabs in there. So when we turn this round, you can hopefully see it's knocking all the dust and particles off the filter, through the filter housing, so that you can then empty everything into your dustbin. I will say that this seems quite small compared to some other vacuum cleaners on the market. I don't think it's really going to hold much dust, dirt, hairs, but we'll give it a test later and see how it holds up. To put this back together, simply click it in down here and push up. So we are now fully charged, so we can actually use this for the first time, and you can see we're fully charged. When I turn it on, we have the 3 white lights on the front, just there. So what we'll do is connect this all up and vacuum around the office. So this office space isn't particularly dirty, so I'm going to put a load of oats down just so we can see how well the vacuum picks it up. I'm also going to show you how easy it is to get under a desk with the flexi rod. And what I'll do, I'll click it on and put it straight to auto. So it's picking that up nice and easy. We'll now do under the desk. And all we have to do to activate the flexi part is click there, and it will now bend. So you can go right underneath without needing to bend. And when you want to bring it back up, you just do that. So I just want to show you it's picking up everything very well, but as you can see near the legs there are a few oats which didn't pick up. So what I'll do, I'll get a crevice tool and we'll just get them up now. So to take this off, we just eject there and then click on the tool. And there you go, everything is picked up. So if we eject it here and pull this part out, you can see just there. Now what we're going to do is actually hoover the rest of the offices just to see how much we can fill up in here. So I've just vacuumed all round and I'll show you that in a minute, but another pretty cool feature it's got is this little hook just here, which means I can just prop it down and it doesn't actually slide anywhere. A lot of the time when you've got vacuum cleaners like this and you try and just lean them up against something, they will just fall all over the place. So this is quite a clever idea. It's actually really, really handy. It's also really lightweight. I'm not exactly sure of the weight, but I will find out all that information and put that in the description of this video. Now let's look at how much dust and dirt we've collected. So as you can see, there's quite a bit, and you can see there's lots of hairs there. We do have 2 dogs that come into the office, so that is all the dog hair just in there. But it's picked it up really well, and that's 3 rooms and a hallway that I've done, and it's not really filled much of this up. So even though I said this is quite small, just compact it in there nicely. And of course, it just means you have to empty it more regularly than a larger dustbin collection. So what I'm going to do now is empty this, and then we're going to use the dynamic aqua head. Okay, I've just emptied the bin, but what I wanted to show you was this part as well. You know, I said earlier that we do this to get all the dust and dirt out of the filter. Well, this is what happens to it. It all ends up in the filter housing, and then we can just throw that bit away. You can see it's just real small, fine dust and dirt particles. So here we are by the sink, and the first thing we're going to do is press the eject button to get the water container out. You can then see we've got this rubber bung just here. So we'll pull that up and the water goes just in here. So I filled it up, closed the bung, and that is completely sealed. So we can now click him back in here. We've got to put the pads on, so we'll just click them down. Like I said earlier, they are just Velcro, and these can be machine washed as well, up to 40 degrees. So that's all on there. We'll now give it a go. So what it does suggest doing is actually holding down this button for 3 seconds, and what that does is pushes some water through to the pads. So we're vacuuming and mopping the floor at the same time. Now what we actually need to do is to vacuum something up whilst we're mopping the floor, because we can't actually see. So I'm going to go and get some porridge. I've got some crisps up here. Let's make a mess on the floor and see how good it is at picking it up whilst mopping. We'll start with just the porridge. We'll wait for them to spin round. So you can see it doesn't actually pick it up as well as the normal vacuum cleaner. It pushes it about a little bit, but when you go over it and then back, it does pick everything up. Now let's try some broken crisps. Now, as you can see, it has coped with that quite well. Now, some of the bigger pieces of crisps, it wasn't picking up very well. And I just want to show you something. If I lift this up and shake it, it hasn't actually sucked everything up. So the bigger pieces are actually getting stuck in here. So from that quick test, I think it goes to show if you've got big pieces of dirt or crisps on the floor, it's not going to handle it that well. It did the porridge really good, but bigger pieces, you may want to remove them first. And what I've just realised, even though I don't really think I've used it for all that long, we're only on one LED light on the battery. Just there. So perhaps that could have affected the performance a little bit. So I'm going to run the test again. I'm going to find a few other things that we can vacuum up just to put it to the test properly. So I'm going to fully charge this and then we'll do the test all over again. Right, we are now fully charged, so let's do this again. Some more oats on the floor, some more crisps on the floor. We've even got some Weetabix. We're going to scatter along the floor and see how well this will vacuum and mop at the same time. So let's start with a line of porridge, a sprinkling of crisps, and a load of Weetabix crumbs. So you can see what I just did. I moved it forward and I moved it back. If I bring this up, you can see there's just a few oats there, but it has pushed these oats all over here. Now, I did put a lot down, maybe more than you try and vacuum and mop up, but I just want to see how much we can push this Bosch 2-in-1 vacuum and mop. Right, let's move on to the crisps. Again, we've got a few left over here and it has pushed the bigger bits of crisps away from the vacuum, and now the Weetabix crumbs. And again, it has left a few bits here and it did push some of the Weetabix crumbs over here. Now, I know we could go over it and back. I just wanted to see how good the vacuum actually was. And in a minute, it's not as good as I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be as good as the actual vacuum cleaner head, but it isn't. Let's get the vacuum cleaner head and see if that could pick up the porridge, the crisps, and the Weetabix. Right, so, porridge oats. And I think I'll put even more down there than I did before. Let's make this machine work. Crisps. Lots of crisps. And Weetabix crumbs. Let's put it all down. Right, are we ready? Let's go. And remember, I'm just on auto, I'm not on boost. They're all gone. Let's move on to the crisps. They're all gone. Let's move on to the Weetabix. One, two, three bits. They are awfully chunky, so let's make them smaller. There we go. We have a clean floor again. Now I know I have been asking a lot. I've been putting a lot of crumbs, food on the floor, maybe more than you would normally try and hoover and mop up. You'd sweep a lot of this up, but I have to push it to the limit so you know when you're buying this or thinking about purchasing this, what the limitations are. So it's clear that if there's only a small amount on the floor, it's going to hoover it up and it's going to mop your floor really well. If there's a lot of stuff on the floor, big bits, the mop is not going to vacuum them up. I wanted the Aqua part to have a vacuum the same as the normal dynamic power brush head. It isn't. It's nowhere near as good. But am I being too harsh? Let me know in the comments. Now what I'm doing now is just mixing a little bit of coffee with some water. I want to make a mark on the floor. I'm going to leave it there for a little while so it gets a bit stained into the floor, and then we'll see how good the mop is at clearing that stain off the flooring. That'll do. Let's leave that a little while and come back and mop it up. Okay, so I've left that a little while and you can see that's nicely stained into the floor. Let's see how well we can clean it up. There you go, that all looks pretty good to me. So for my final test, I just want to recreate a more realistic floor mess. Just to see how well it will cope. Got a feeling it will do just fine. I've been pushing it to the limit, because I think you should push them to the limit when you're doing a review. You want an honest review, I want to give you an honest review. But let's just see how it copes with a more realistic messy floor. A little sprinkling of tea, a few crumbs, and a light sprinkling of dog fur. So there you have it, the floor is clean. I'm shaking the head and I can't see any crumbs coming out. I did notice that some of the larger pieces, even though they're all pretty small, the larger pieces of Weetabix was getting stuck at the front of the Aqua head. But basically, with a little shake of the machine, it seemed to suck it up nicely. Let's go back in the other room and conclude on this video. Okay, so I've enjoyed reviewing this vacuum cleaner. I love that it has the detachable battery, which you can use for all your Bosch power tools, which will extend the runtime. So if you've got a load of Bosch tools around, you've got spare batteries, as soon as one dies, you can just put another one on, which is a really good feature. The vacuum is really, really powerful. And this head is absolutely amazing, and it's going to pick up all the dirt on the floor. I think my expectations of this was that it was going to be better than it actually is. Maybe that's my fault, but in my head, I thought the vacuum was going to be as good as this with the mop. And that's what I want. If we look under here, obviously you can see it has a huge part to vacuum all the dust, dirt, hairs up. And when we look under here, you've only got a tiny little part just there. So really, it's like having a crevice tool attachment and a mop, rather than a vacuum head and a mop. However, if you keep your floors tidy, so there's not got big bits of dirt and muck on the floor, this will cope perfectly. It'll be very good. I just thought it might be a little bit more powerful. But overall, this is a great 2-in-1 vacuum and mop. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Would you buy this? Have you already purchased it? And what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now, if you've liked this video, please do give me a like, subscribe, and do you want to watch this video? It's a good one. Click it just now.